well, the stories of the failed launches and comebacks are becoming more and more frequent. And I'm really happy this was one of those, even though EA still decided to abandon it. Well, in this video, we're going to be discussing Star Wars Battlefront 2 and whether it is worth it to buy and play right now or whether you should just move on. So yeah, let's discuss that. And as always, I'm going to be giving you the answer right away to not waste your time and, well, give you a lot more time to play this game or maybe another game or do anything that you want. And the answer is this: yes, absolutely. Star Wars Battlefront game is one of the best shooters, period, right now. Especially if you love Star Wars, go and get this game, with a few caveats, because game is actually not supported anymore and you are not getting any updates and live service. But this can be actually a good thing as well. Now, let's discuss that. But first, for the ones who doesn't know, what even is Star Wars Battlefront 2? Battlefront 2 is a multiplayer shooter game in the Star Wars universe. Yes, the main goal of the game is a multiplayer, even though it does have a single player as well. Overall, game gives you 3 different modes of play. It is a single player campaign, the co-op missions, and the competitive multiplayer. Now let's get campaign quickly out of the way. Yes, there is a campaign in this game, and the campaign is happening somewhere between the start of the Battle of Endor and somewhere between the episodes 6 and 7. And it covers the story from, well, Empire side. And I won't lie to you, to be fair, the campaign is a bit of lackluster. It's not bad, but it's not good as well. If you will not play it, yeah, you will not lose a lot, and if you play it, you will most likely not regret it. The campaign is more like a tour of the worlds and maps that you're gonna visit in a multiplayer and co-op maps, and just teaches you how you can actually play this game. It's more like an extended tutorial with the story. So yeah, there's nothing to talk about there. You can just completely skip it or just play it and have a little bit of fun. For not long though. It's not a long campaign. Now, where the game actually shines is it's in multiplayer, and let's now start with cooperative multiplayer first. In a co-op, there are up to 4 players on a single mission, and your goal is basically to play some kind of horde mode. You start on a planet and you have to move on through the different points, and you need to capture it and then defend it and then move on to the next points and to defend it from the waves of enemies. Enemies can be from regular troopers to the heroes. And you can play from regular troopers to the heroes as well, exactly the same like you do in the cooperative multiplayer. It's actually pretty fun, and it's a great way to level up your characters and your classes and just have a little bit of fun, for example, if you don't have a lot of people to play with. I highly enjoyed the co-op just because it's not very long and it's pretty fun, and just relaxes you because it's not exceptionally difficult and just gives you the strength of power in the Star Wars universe. And the main meat of the game is in competitive multiplayer, and this is when you're fighting against the other players. You have a few modes in competitive multiplayer, and you can play with up to 40 different other players. Yes, it's not as big as the Battlefield, but to be fair, you don't need that because the maps are actually pretty small and cramped, and the 40 players is more than enough for these missions. And boy, the chaos and the carnage that is happening in these competitive multiplayer matches is insane. Just to give you an understanding of the feeling, how it feels like, just think of any episode of the Clone Wars and where the actual combats are happening. Even from the pilot movie of the Clone Wars series. It's exactly that. It's an intense combat with the laser bolts flying all around the place, explosions, and all of the Star Wars goodness happening around you. It's insane. And with the vehicle, with the land vehicle, with an aerial vehicles, with the heroes running around, it's insanely amazing fun. The multiplayer is happening in all of the Star Wars eras, from prequels, original trilogy, and in sequel eras. And as I understand, you are fighting with the combatants from those eras. For example, in the prequels, you have the clones against the droids. In the original trilogy, you have an Empire against the rebels. And in the sequels, you have a resistance against the First Order. And the maps are insanely beautiful, and the combat is very fluid, and the combat is very fast and intense. You're mainly playing from the third-person perspective, but you can play for the first person as well, even though it's not actually recommended. Or you can play with the 4 main classes and with an additional classes and the heroes after that. 4 main classes cost nothing to play with, and they usually cover different kind of equipment and different kind of weapons, like for example sniper rifles or the heavy machine guns or the regular assault rifles. And when you play with those classes, you are getting the points which you can exchange for additional classes, like for example droid echas or super battle droids for the droid army, or you can exchange it for different vehicles, like for tanks or TIE fighters or X-wings. And when you gain a lot more points, you can start playing with the heroes like the Master Yoda, or Luke Skywalker, or Darth Maul, or Darth Vader, or Emperor Palpatine, or Kylo Ren, or every other hero that you can think about from the main Star Wars movies. And just seeing this combat, for example, when you follow a Jedi hero in a combat and see how they maul every single one of them in front of you, or even playing with the Jedi heroes as well, and mauling all the droids or the Empire forces with your abilities, it's insanely amazing. Alongside with your weapon, you have up to 3 different abilities, and you use these abilities, and you can actually change those abilities with an upgrade cards and ability cards as you level up your character. Overall gameplay is insanely fun, even though it's a little bit clunky. I felt like it was just a little bit clunky, but nothing that will take away your immersion or just break your gameplay. It's nothing like that. Now let's talk about the most interesting part, and it's the pricing of the game. So game is available on Steam for the base price of $39.99 for both Tier 1 and Tier 2 countries, and can go as low as $5.99 for both Tier 1 and Tier 2 countries. Game is also available for free from both EA Play subscription and on a Game Pass. And now let's get to the main, well, downside of the game. Game is actually not supported anymore. EA already pulled the plug for a few years now, and game is not getting any updates anymore. So, well, to be fair, that means that game's live service is basically dead. But does this mean that game is dead? Absolutely not. Not even think for a second that pulling the plug from this game actually means that game is dead. Nope, not at all. Game has constant play numbers from somewhere from 800 to 3,000 players all the time just on Steam. So you can double those numbers if you add the Game Pass and EA Play. So yes, there's constantly someone to play with. Yes, during the morning hours and during work time, you probably won't find all the player modes, all the multiplayer modes full, but the most popular ones are almost always full. Plus, because there is no live service anymore, there is no microtransactions. Everything that was microtransactions, appearance and emojis and things like that, everything is already open for you. So you can just play for your pleasure, just to level up your character and just, well, enjoy the game. There are so many things to do here that you don't really need any live service anymore. And because the game is already polished enough to play without any issues, and is popular enough to, well, not miss any of the matches, you don't really need that as well. So just give it a verdict. Is this game actually worth it or not? And the answer is yes, this game is absolutely worth it. But for what price though? Even though game is actually worth absolutely every single penny, don't get this game for the full price. Just don't. You don't need this. Game is very often on a sale, or you can just play it through the Game Pass or EA Play. Through those latter two, you are absolutely obliged to play this game if you love Star Wars games. You are going to enjoy it a lot. Yes, you're gonna die a lot in this game, but you can always play co-op to learn how to actually play, and then move on to the competitive multiplayer to, well, play against other players. And as for the discounted price, 100%. $6 is more than worth it for this game. You're gonna get far more than 6 hours from this game, and you're gonna enjoy every single second of it. So yes, my overall verdict is this: go and get this game. Whether it's live service or not, it's absolutely worth it. You have more than enough player base, and the players will be playing this game at least until the new Star Wars shooter game will come out. So don't worry a single second about it. Go and get this game. Go and play this game. You're not gonna regret it. Well, this will be it for today. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.